Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It is 4 o'clock now. All cuts have to be made. Each team needs to be down to 53-man roster, and we haven't gotten the word for everybody on there, but you can get that anywhere. But today, you know what I like to do? I guess I'm Adam Schefnering it, and so to speak, because Adam Schefter basically takes information and tries to put it together to become a story. And one of the things that I do, I am a problem solver, okay? Usually, actually, rest his soul, my friend Alex Lucas used to always call me FF, for fuck up fixer. Forgive me, Dad, for saying that, but that's what he would say. He said, if it's effed up, call Mark, he'll find a way to fix it. And usually in construction work and things like that, I would have to be the one to come up with a solution that nobody else had. And I enjoy that because I always get the difficult jobs. And I'm trying to get into the mind of what the hell is going on with the Cowboys. And I think I may have pieced together at least one theory. Okay. Before we get into why I think Jerry Jones is hesitant right now about doing Micah Parsons and why he's saying we've got him for 3 years. It all comes down to economics. But before I get to that, speaking of Adam Schefter, let me give you his latest thing. It's so funny how Adam Schefter is considered the expert on everything, right? He was basically saying yesterday, there's no movement on Trey Henderson. And then 2 hours later, the deal comes out. And then, of course, everything turns in like he knew this was coming. It's a great move and this, that. Oh, come on. Give me a fat baby break.
Micah Parsons and the Cowboys, though.
Oh.
Ty. Holy cow. We got a guy on the training table in a game. I've never seen that before. We've got another person saying this is Jerry Jones' Waterloo. We've got zero negotiations. Zero. Like at least
do we know that for sure?
Terry McLaurin were talking.
Do we know
Trey
that?
Hendrickson in Cincinnati talk. Dallas and Mike.
Now, understand. With Trey Henderson, they said they were trying to trade him. And you said there was no movement and no contact. This was yesterday. Go on.
Micah Parsons, not even talking about a new deal for months now. And
he doesn't know
what
shit.
The Dallas Cowboys opened the season on Thursday, September
Look, he doesn't even
5th. What is that day?
He doesn't even know what day it's on.
Thursday night. So
September 4th.
He doesn't even know the
season
day.
Thursday, September 4th.
Don't.
Even if the two sides improbably and impossibly figured out a new deal today, which they're not going to do, Micah Parsons is going to be at best limited in
Wow, thank you, Captain
That's
Obvious.
If he even plays at all. And right now he says he's got back spasms. As we're taping this Monday, he was not spotted at practice. His back is tight. The Cowboys say his MRI came back clean. He says his back is tight. How can you prove that your back is or isn't tight? Right?
Yeah.
Now, what would be interesting would be if the Dallas Cowboys decide to get serious about that and they want to pursue legal action and file a grievance against him for not being able to play when he says he can't play. And they say he is healthy enough to play. Could that happen? That would be interesting. Could
he's
Micah
making
Parsons
shit up.
File a grievance against Jerry Jones for unfair labor practices through the NFLPA for going around the back of his head? He could do that if he wants. So in this war of words and war
There's
of actions,
not a single thing on
it's
here
a soap opera
that you can
that
point to and
goes
say,
on and on.
here's the reason
and
why.
we might not be done yet with where it's going. And we'll see how that plays out over time.
Okay, so here's my thing. There is not one tidbit of anything on there that you can point your finger to and say, yes, this might happen. Yes, or anything else. He is making stuff up. Now, let me at least say, here is at least plausible deniability of why this may be the case. That the Dallas Cowboys, it may be a cash issue thing. Now, here's the thing. Understand this, okay? The Dallas Cowboys franchise is worth $12.83 billion, right? That's a hell of a lot of money. But like,
Oh shit! Oh shit!
like me sitting in this house right here, they could say it's worth $2 million. Well, that's great. But you don't realize the money out of it unless you sell it. It's great that you got all this equity. It's not worth $2 million, not even close. But it's great that you got all this equity, but in order to use it, you have to either sell it or you borrow against it. You follow me? Cowboys are worth $12.83 billion, but that's not cash in your pocket. See, you can be wealthy on paper and be cash poor. Believe me, I wish I had that kind of problem. But here's the thing. What I want you to understand is, and this is me trying to put all this together. Okay, so think about this for a second. When we heard the press conference, Jerry Jones was going off about paying guys early and understanding the problem of players getting paid in money. Okay? See, when you got tons and tons of money and you have a cash flow problem, you don't want to say, I got a cash flow problem. But see, here's the thing. With the collective bargaining agreement, the NFL and the NFLPA agreed that when you guarantee money, it goes from your accounts into an NFL managed escrow, the full amount of money. So when you guarantee $231 million of money to Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones is putting that money in an escrow account that will be there to make sure that the player gets paid. That's in case, an owner sells a team or, goes bankrupt, that the player with the contract will be honored. And see, this would be like for you and me, we go out and we buy a car. We buy a car, right? We look at it and say, we're going to have monthly payments on this thing, right? Well, guess what? Here's what you got to do. That $100,000 Hellcat, we're going to put that $100,000 in the bank and we're going to take the payments out of there to make sure that you don't default on the car. Do you have the $100,000 to put in escrow? Maybe. Maybe not. So think about this for a second. Yes, Jerry Jones worked tons of money, but they had to do work on AT&T Stadium to get ready for the World Cup. Chunk of money. Trayvon Diggs, you guaranteed $100 million. So that's $100 million that went into escrow. You guaranteed Dak Prescott $231 million. That goes into escrow. And now we're talking about like $140, $150 million fully guaranteed for Micah Parsons. That's going in the bank. So now we're talking about cash of about $500 million just for those three guys. And, of course, working on AT&T Stadium. That doesn't count the other guaranteed money that's out there. So when you have, three players that are highest paid in the NFL, you're having to escrow even more money. So think about that for a second. So for Jerry Jones, here's the thing. There's two ways to look at this. I can hold on to, my money, right? If we're talking about doing a long-term contract that will save the team money on the cap in the long run, which is true, that means I got to take $150 million and put over there that I can't use. That's capital I cannot use to run my business. It's taken away from me. Or I can just pay him $24 million this year, $26 million next year, and I still have $100 million of cash flow.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Because that's what we're talking about. It may hurt the team as far as winning because it costs that cost of money costs you more on the salary cap. But having an extra $100 million for 2 years, making interest off it puts more into your pocket. And if you have been overextended yourself cash-wise, that's the kind of move you make. It's kind of like going and saying, well, shit, I'm broke until I get paid. Let me go get a payday loan. I know it's going to cost me more in interest, but I need that cash right now. Listen to Jerry Jones at the press conference, because he sounds like somebody who's thinking back and saying, God damn, I wasted money. I shouldn't have spent that before. And you're retrospectively thinking about it.
And I don't talk to the attorneys and all of the other stuff that goes on, too. Now, it really wouldn't be time for everything if you did that. So I do talk to the principals, though.
We've talked about the fact that sometimes we drag these out. I know last year you guys have disputed whether there was any rust with CeeDee Lamb when he wasn't here at camp. For those of us who aren't in the rooms or aren't talking to the agent like you are, Stephen, what's holding it up? Is it APY? Is it injury language? What are the little nuances that are preventing a contract getting done? Since you talked to Micah, which is something you guys have done pretty early on with the player, more so than you have in the past.
Well, first of all, we've always felt like it wouldn't, it's not productive to talk about any details about what's holding what up. I mean, obviously, we don't have a deal with Mike, and we have work to do. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I would comment on.
The other thing I would say is contracts are 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. Okay.
Listen to this.
There's a lot of water under the bridge if you step out there and do something in the first 2 or 3. You can get hit by a car. Seriously. And so there's a lot to look at over a lot of years that could make a big difference. Have you ever heard of any clubs committing to players and then they didn't pan out after they committed to them? Mm-hmm. We have. And so my point is there's of all the reasons in the world to, when you're under contract, and if you're not under contract, one of the things that exacerbates this is that you have a kind of a policy or a practice to have contracts but have like it's some kind of obligation to do something before the contract is over. Okay? In other words, not have the benefit of the contract. Well, that goes completely against the benefit of the club, which ultimately should be to put a winning team on the field. And the more that you can husband, the more that you can spread it out and put it around and have other good players rather than all going to a few players, the better team you got. So there's a lot of reasons. Timing is a lot of reasons. And in fact, why would you go out and basically spend money just to spend money and not have had to spend it, but you can spend it 3 years later? Money.
There you have it right there. Why go out there and spend it? Because here's the thing. You sign Micah today, you now have that guaranteed money taken away from you. It's put in escrow. Why go out there and spend money today when I can have it to spend down the road? Listen to him again.
Okay? In other words, not have the benefit of the contract. Well, that goes completely against the benefit of the club, which ultimately should be to put a winning team on the field. And the more that you can husband, the more that you can spread it out and put it around and have other good players rather than all going to a few players, the better team you got. So there's a lot of reasons. Timing is a lot of reasons. And in fact, why would you go out and basically spend money just to spend money and not have had to spend it, but you can spend it 3 years later? Money costs money.
Money costs money.
There's a lot of reasons why. This old business of thinking, well, my goodness, it's pretty obvious to me everything goes up. So why don't you catch it when it's low? Have you ever thought that when it's low, they're counting on it going up? And those are the numbers that are coming out? Not the ones that are going on right there. Have you ever thought about that? That's it, 90% of the time. They are not dealing with you in those numbers today. They're dealing with projected numbers, which also usually have more fluff than reality. They've usually got not imagination, but an expectation that those numbers.
Okay, so back to my theory here. He's worried about spending that money, right? Now, as we go further in here, because again, what he's basically saying is exactly what happens. If I sign this contract now, I'm spending money. He's saying that, I need to have that money to be able to spend on players, but it may be to spend it on other things. Hell, the stadium is dropping pieces off the roof. He might need to spend some money fixing that. Let's go on a little further.
Are going to be higher than they are. And there's a debate. Okay, what if we're sitting here putting the club together and we're trying to get them and we don't believe they're going that high? Only God really knows, So all of that comes to play.
Joe.
Joseph Boyd, Dallas Morning News. Jerry, kind of just talked about, the things that can happen before a contract's up, and that's why you kind of wait for it a little bit. You've done deals, though, early with Trayvon Diggs, with Terrence Steele before it was time for it. What's the difference between those situations and a situation like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons?
Frankly, should we have waited on Diggs and Steele? Oh, you brought them up. I didn't.
You're still sitting waiting.
Well, the other thing is the willingness. I mean, you have players who are, who decide, hey, I'm willing to wait. And I'm going to wait on bigger numbers.
Okay. Should I have waited? To me, I mean, again, being a man that's always broke, I start looking back and saying, damn, I shouldn't have spent that money here, or I shouldn't have spent that money there. And I start looking at things differently. And when you are broke, you try and figure out ways I can scramble to get money. And some of them may not be the most cost effective ones in the long term, but they help you to get by for now. There you have it. One of the possibilities why all of a sudden Jerry's not wanting to pay Micah. He's broke. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Excuse me. We shall see. Peace.